I moved into an abandoned farm in Portugal. Stepping this far outside of my comfort zone definitely came with a few challenges.
It's raining ice. Oh my god.
However, I'm gonna keep building and hopefully moving towards a more peaceful way of life. So last week you may have seen me begin to build a roof structure for the small barn. This week I'm hoping to get it finished. Since I'm building this alone, I'm using this piece of scrap wood to hold one end of the rafter while I attach the other. It is the first time that I'm building anything quite like this, so I guess you could say that this is a bit of an experiment. And because this is an experiment, I made quite a few mistakes. And one of those is that I underestimated the importance of having pretty thick materials. I tried to save some money on the thickness of the wood that I got, but I quickly realized that I had to add some sort of reinforcements in order for it to actually work. As part of the reinforcements of the structure, I added these diagonal braces, I guess you call them that, I wasn't too sure if they were actually needed, to be honest, but after adding them on, it was obvious that they added a ton of strength to the structure. And besides, I think they look really nice. So now that the structure was done, it was time to finally finish laying the tiles. This is a very slow and repetitive process, especially considering that I have to climb up the roof every time, but it's pretty satisfying to see it coming along.
Oh man, it's not done, but it's like 80% there, 90% let's say. I don't know if you can see that little gap, like the closest to my side. That's because there are still some of the old roof tiles here that I'm gonna use for that. But I still gotta clean these. But yeah, the big majority of the top of the barn is covered. This front area is completely covered. So yeah, I mean, I think worst case scenario, if winter would come right now, at least in terms of a roof, I think we'd be good. I still wanna, obviously there are some parts because this barn is not an actual square. So there are some walls that have like funny angles, so I'm gonna have to cut a few of the tiles. So I'm gonna have to do that and cement them in at the top. But I underestimated so much how many tiles we would need. I have no idea how many there are there. Like you see the bright orange ones, the new ones that I got, that's 150 just there. So, I don't know, I think it's close to like 300, something like that. Maybe even a little bit more. It's crazy. But man, I'm so happy with it. It looks so nice. one thing that this will also do, which is a very nice, two very nice cherries on top, is that it'll protect the window itself from the rain. And also, because this is a brick wall, there's no insulation. So when the sun hits it directly in the summer, it gets very hot and it heats up the barn a lot. So like this, it'll actually do, in my opinion, a very good deal of insulating it, because this will never be under direct sun, especially not during the hottest hours of the day, which is very, very nice. So yesterday I went to IKEA and yeah, if I know myself, I know that that's always a problem, but I ended up getting this. This is a tiny fridge, and I know we love the fridge that I have in the small barn. I do love the fridge that I have in the small barn, but I do think that it might not make a lot of sense for such a small space to have such a gigantic fridge. So I got this incredibly tiny one. I didn't even know that there were such tiny fridges. And what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to test to see how much it actually draws in terms of power using this EcoFlow River. I think that's it. Not sponsored, by the way, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna see how much it draws, because I'm curious to see if it actually is more efficient or not than the old vintage fridge that I have. So if you don't know, the way that this works is that it's basically just a big ass battery bank, and you can charge your phone and whatnot, but the cool thing that I'm gonna use it for is to actually measure the amount of power that's been put out by it. So you can measure how much power is coming in, which in this case I'm not going to do, and you can also measure how much power is going out. So I'm just going to plug that in here, and we'll see. Alright, so let's have a look. Woo. Okay, so far so good. So you can see that it's drawing around 80 watts. It's going down, and the way that this works is that because it's a compressor fridge, it like takes a bit of power to get to the right temperature, and then it should just stabilize and go down to consuming pretty much nothing. So far this is really good, because compared to the other one, I don't know if you saw the video, but that was pulling in around 220 watts if I remember correctly, when it was on. So 80 that's very good. So then the plan of action will be to remove the big ass fridge from the small barn, and don't worry, I'm obviously not going to get rid of it. I love that thing. I'm planning on restoring it and then using it here, which is going to be the big kitchen eventually. So for now it's just going to be in standby until I get to work on it, and this one will officially become the fridge for the small barn, which only makes sense because it's a small fridge. And the cool thing as well is that I'm gonna hopefully be able to put this under the counter, which is gonna free up so much space. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited. So if you can tell, this is actually the inside of that. So it's just kind of a poor representation of it, but I think you can kind of get an idea. So right now, as you can see, that's like this shelf is just one
level. It's all the same level. And so I think that what I'm going to do is put the fridge down where that bin is right now, which means that I have to raise this up by a couple of centimeters. And so this is pretty much what I drew here. So I'm going to cut it at a length of around 45 centimeters. That's the size of the fridge. Obviously I want to give it a little bit of space, so maybe like 46, 47, whatever. I'll see how wide I can go. And then I'll raise this up to create basically kind of a level on the whole shelf. And then I'll still have this space on top of the shelf to actually put things, because obviously this being such a small space, every place where I can put things is a plus. So okay. So this was the moment where I realized that this wasn't going to work. Truth is, this fridge does consume quite a bit less than the one that I currently have, but for some reason it needs a lot more power to get started. And that's something that my solar electricity system cannot handle. Not at the moment, at least. So it looks like I'm gonna have to put this fridge aside for now.